Looks like I got some time to vent a little bit. So, sorry, y'all. I had to use the bathroom. Is it just me, or do you ever sit with something and think, I don't even know how to ask this without sounding strange, Let me run this past you. There are people on the planet who can land almost anywhere in the world and already know where to go. A Jewish person can find a synagogue anywhere in the world. They don't need a backstory. They don't need to explain themselves. There's already a sense of, okay, I'm oriented. Groups like Shabbat exist specifically to make sure that's true globally. Muslims can find a mosque. Catholics can find a church. Chinese communities, honestly, food does a lot of the work. You can find a Chinese restaurant, and behind that is a language, family, business connection. So here's the part I keep coming back to. Where do we go? And I'm not talking about McDonald's. I'm not talking about KFC. They're not places where we can walk in and say, oh yeah, this is ours. So when I say where do we go, I'm talking about places where I can walk in and feel an immediate sense of connection. No explanation, connection. And the more I sit with it, the more I realize I don't actually know what that place is. And then it even gets more layered. You guys are finding out pretty quickly how my brain works. We're all Black people, but look how many labels we need just to explain where we're coming from. Black American, African American, Caribbean, African. That only shows how separated we've become. Not because we chose it, but because of history. Slavery broke continuity. Colonialism deepened it, and borders locked it in. We're generations removed from the kind of uninterrupted connection that other groups never lost. So now, even if we all walked into the same room, we don't even arrive the same way. A Black American walks in as a Black American. An African man walks in as an African. A Caribbean brother walks in as a Caribbean. But we're all Black. But we don't automatically feel like kin. And sometimes, if we're completely honest, we don't treat each other that way either. There can be distance, assumptions, a little side-eye, I don't know, a sense of hierarchy, but that didn't come out of nowhere. When I think about slavery, I think about how people were forced into survival situations where turning on each other was built into the system. You hear the argument about Black people capturing other Black people. I don't bring that up to blame anybody. I bring it up because that's what divide and conquer looks like. When survival is the priority, trust collapses. Unity becomes dangerous. And I don't think that pattern disappeared. I think it adapted. Colonialism didn't just divide land. I think it divided people too. Instead of walking into spaces thinking we're good, we walk in thinking, where do we stand? And this gets really real for me living in Central Europe. I've always thought, wouldn't it be amazing to have a soul food restaurant in a place like Budapest? Not a gimmick, not a novelty, an American soul food spot. Maybe even a little speakeasy vibe would be cool. Somewhere where you walk in and you just feel grounded. But I don't see that here. I see Chinese food everywhere. Italian, Turkish, Vietnamese, Japanese. I don't ever see soul food. And sometimes I'll open my app just looking for African food. Not a specific country, just African food. As we know, Africa isn't one thing. But I'd still try any of it. And the fact that I even have to explain that kind of proves the point once again. Even our entry points are fragmented. And I don't think that's because we don't want connection. I think it's because for a very long time, we've been in systems that rewarded division more than unity. Unity wasn't safe. Trust wasn't safe. Thinking long-term wasn't safe. So we had to adapt. But adaptation has a cost. Unity isn't just a feeling, it's a habit. And habits need repetition. Repetition needs shared spaces. And shared spaces needs your trust, my trust. Not spaces built around struggle. Not spaces built around someone else's spaces. Not spaces built around politics. Just normal human spaces. Places where nobody has to explain their Blackness. Places where difference doesn't automatically mean distance. That's really all I'm trying to say. It's not about blame. It's not about nostalgia. I'm definitely not pretending to have the answers. I'm truly just thinking out loud, pushing the conversation further. Is it me, or do we need to start imagining the rooms before we talk about unity? That's part of why I've been thinking about spaces like this exchange I put together. If you don't know about it, go to my website, check it out. It's just an experiment to try to slow the conversation down and just for listening. Because if unity ever becomes real for us, it won't start with a slogan. It will start with rooms, spaces. And as Black people internationally in the diaspora, we can't build what we don't name.